Okay, hi everyone, welcome back. And in this update, we are going to check out Polygon's price chart, and I think we might be a bit more bullish than I initially thought in the previous update. Why is that? If you remember, the last time that we talked about Matic, we were around these areas, and the idea was that probably our move down is going to continue a bit, and I was actually expecting Polygon to have a retest of this important level, which the lower band of it is about 21.5 and the higher band of it is about 22.5 cents. So what happened? We did get a move down, and in it, as you can see, we definitely took the lows down here around, let's say, 23.2 cents. But we didn't have a retest of this level. However, I don't really think this is a deal breaker. In fact, it doesn't really matter at all in my view, as long as we are having the sub waves. And I am actually able to argue maybe we are having our wave 3 to about here, followed by correction for 4. And I'm going to say probably a truncated move on the downside into our wave 5, which on a higher degree is going to be into the C leg of this beautiful ABC zigzag, starting from this point around 26.5 cents. Now, what is going on in Polygon at the moment? I can consider two different camps. Scenario number one suggests that we are having overall in this whole phase up actually an A, B, C zigzag and not an impulse, and this move can actually continue in the short term, maybe in order to reach to about the lower band of this region around 29.5 cents, but then we're going to get a move on the downside. Scenario number two suggests that as opposed to an ABC, we are allowed to consider an impulse in here, and in that scenario I'm going to say starting from this point and not the highest high up here, we are having an A, B, and then 5 wave down into our C leg, completing a flat structure, and this is going to be 5 up into 1, starting from the lowest low, correction for wave 2. The current move that we are having is going to continue a bit, and it's going to be into wave 3, and then probably by the time that we're going to reach to about here, we're going to get some sort of a consolidation pattern into our wave 4, and then after it, we can have yet another move on the upside into our wave 5, which I'm really hoping at that point, this orange 5 wave up is going to be into this larger degree wave 3, and followed by that, we're going to have, let's say, like a triangular structure into wave 4, and then again another move up into wave 5, basically in order to continue the bull run in Polygon. Question is, which scenario is going to happen? You see, at the moment I really cannot tell you anything for sure, but here is what I can sort of kind of argue with a decent bit of confidence. I think this move is going to continue a bit more in order to reach to about here. So let's say like we're gonna have another 10% move on the upside, and then we need to be a bit patient and careful and watch the price action very, very closely. In case that we get a very slow and choppy move down, great sign. But on the other hand, if we get a very strong move down, a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay, maybe in the short term, this move is going to continue. However, please remember, overall, we are, even according to this scenario, not going to be bearish. Why is that? Because at that point, you are going to see me in Polygon talking about having an expanded flat, which looks like this. This is our initial move down into a correction for wave B, which in it, we're going to take this initial high and a very strong move down into our C leg. And as you can see, in this phase, we are going to take the low of our A leg, and in terms of the sub waves, ABC down into A, ABC on the upside into wave B, and from here, a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave down into C. Now let's go on the live chart and see what is happening. Okay, so I said it before, this is definitely, in my view, an ABC zigzag, followed by that, let's say, okay, we are going to have an ABC on the upside, and even if we get a very strong move down, a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, possibly even in order to take the lows down here about, I don't know, let's say 23 cents, at that point, this whole move on the downside, starting from here, is just going to be an ABC flat, and since before it, as you can see, we are having a picture perfect 5 wave up. Okay, once more, this is going to be a bit of a bullish setup, suggesting on a higher degree, this is 1, this is 2, and what's next? Yes, big move up into wave 3 and 4 and 5. So for now, in the short term, in Polygon, I think our move up is going to continue, most likely for another 10 to 15%, but I don't really believe that the first time that we are going to reach to about here, we are going to get an outright break. If we get it, okay, great sign. We are going to be much more bullish with much more confidence, but I don't really think that should be our base case, because honestly, usually we're not really that lucky. I'm going to say by the initial touch of this region, we are going to have some sort of reaction. But again, the reaction itself is not really that important. The shape of our reaction is the key, and it's going to determine, are we going to have from here a break of this level, or maybe we're going to get first a rather sharp move down, and then in the next move we are going to hopefully finally break this area. And I hope I explained everything well and you understood what is going on in Polygon's chart. And until the next update, I hope you have a wonderful time with your family and loved ones. Goodbye.